And that brings us to our next story. It's not just the stores themselves that are getting more creative to try to lure customers. Malls overall are doing the same thing. And Courtney Reagan has that story for The Exchange.
The American Mall. It may not be the gathering place of the 80s and 90s, but extinction headlines take it too far.
They're not dying, they're just changing.
It's true that more than a quarter of the nation's malls have closed. CoreSite counts 19,500 store closure announcements in the U.S. since 2017. Some from bankruptcies, due partially to heavy debt burdens, but also lower sales and margins as more shopping moves online. Anchor locations are the biggest traffic drivers, making them the most important and most expensive to replace. But Green Street Advisors estimates malls will be more than 93% occupied this year. That's above the historical average. Last year, tenant sales were the best in 6 years. Mall operators are getting creative, filling empty real estate with experiences, things you can't buy on Amazon.
Things like axe throwing, things where people can go and participate in some sort of experience. These used to be in remote locations. Now they're coming to your shopping center.
There's an escape room where a now bankrupt Limited and Limited 2 store used to be in New Jersey's Woodbridge Mall. This Lifetime Fitness in Edina, Minnesota is where JCPenney used to be. It even has a water park. The American Dream Mall in New Jersey has changed hands 3 times in the 16 years since it was first conceived, now run by the family that owns Minneapolis's Mall of America. It's almost ready to open. With an indoor snow park, a DreamWorks branded indoor water park, aquarium, Cirque du Soleil venue, hockey rink, and Vice Media food hall. With over half the tenants entertainment or food, it will hardly feel like a mall at all.
We are a consuming public. We like to shop, we like to have experiences. I don't believe retail as a category is headed toward Armageddon. I think it's headed toward repositioning.
Brookfield, the country's biggest mall owner, now has Peloton stores, Tesla showrooms, and supermarkets.
Today, the best shopping centers are curated about 35% apparel, 20% home furnishings, 20% entertainment, 15 to 18% food, 10% electronic and digitally native companies, which is sort of the biggest flow of tenants into our shopping centers.
Simon Property Group owns some of the strongest malls in the country. In recent years, its tenant composition has changed, with fewer pure clothing stores and the addition of 15 brands that started online, like Warby Parker, Casper, and Untuckit.
I mean, you got axe throwing in there, Court.
You know, they're getting creative, really creative. Skydiving and axe throwing and escape rooms and water parks.
It's fun, and I can see, so it's interesting you said that Simon has some of the strongest malls. Those shares have done okay over the past year, but a lot of the major mall REITs, despite the great occupancy numbers you cited, tenant sales the best in 6 years, but a lot of these names like Macerich, Washington Prime, they're down 20 to, so in some cases, much more than that.
Yeah, and I think, like we said in the piece there, a quarter of the malls that once lived in this country are now closed. And I don't think we're done closing malls, so I think the future is sort of still up in the air. That being said, I think we have to be fair that malls are not dead, but they are changing, right? So if you're going to go for an escape room or for a water park, it doesn't really look like a mall anymore, right? So it's a property, it's a mixed-use property.
Yeah.
Some have office spaces and healthcare centers and even apartments at one end. I mean, we couldn't get in every example, but I think when you're looking at those shares, it's going to change what you're buying when you're buying a share of a stock that is a REIT that underlines a mall.
Sure enough, I just know if I'm going to that mall where that Lifetime Fitness with the double pool, I'll take that over that old Sears Court any day of the week.
Hey, why not? It's very creative.
No, I give them a lot of credit. We'll see if the performance does catch up. Courtney, thanks so much.
Thank
Courtney
you.
Reagan.